Empaths are so loyal. They have such an ability to love someone and accept someone for all of their wonderful qualities and all of the things that aren't so great. So sometimes when people are partnered with empaths, they become very confused as to why the empath is pulling away. After all, it can be quite scary for a person who's with an empath who is used to receiving so much love and adoration and service and support to sense that their partner is pulling away from them. So if you find yourself in this situation where you sense your partner is becoming more distant from you, I wanted to address some things that you could analyze in your life and see if you can improve upon them. So why might your partner be pulling away from you? They might be feeling ignored, rejected, or unimportant to you. If your empath has been very loving, very attentive, very conscientious of your feelings, then it's important that you reciprocate the same type of love, care, and attention. The most important way that we can connect to one another is to know that someone cares about us. They love us, they miss us, they want to spend time with us. They want to see our feelings and needs met and cared for in the same way that we have cared for theirs. They might be feeling that they are giving too much and you are giving too little. And if you're hearing this communication come out of someone, then it's important to validate that. It's important to say, I'm so sorry, I didn't realize that I wasn't giving enough. Please tell me what I can do to help improve this experience between us. Your happiness matters to me. Another reason that an empath might be pulling away from you is they could feel like you're hiding something. There could be a secret, or maybe there's something you haven't communicated to them that's been on your mind or your heart. And that can really undermine a sense of trust in a relationship. It's important that if you have anything you're dealing with on your own that you've kept private, that you allow your partner to know what's going on. It's so important that we remain open in relationships to communicate everything that we're going through. This is the way that we build trust, and we know how to support one another and grow deeper in our bond. There's nothing too big or too scary that you should feel concerned about bringing to your partner. If you allow your partner to evolve alongside of you with the information that's happening in your life, it helps the relationship in so many ways to deepen and grow together. They might need more affection and more words that affirm the quality of the values that you see in them. Positive communication, positive investment in their self-esteem and knowing how you feel about them. They need to know that you see them as a wonderful human being and how blessed you feel to be with them. They need to feel appreciated, loved, and respected. They need to feel valid. They need you to be in a situation where you are validating how happy you are with them. And it's important to do this not once a year, but consistently, because a lot changes in our lives on a day-to-day basis. We go through a lot of stress as individuals, and it's important to have somebody who's bringing positive communication to you about yourself. You want to always be authentic with your communication. You don't want to be saying things that are not true, because a person will pick up on that. You want to be saying things that are actually true. Affirm that you love them and care for them in different ways. It's a great idea to leave little love notes around that they won't expect. Surprise them. Show them that you're thinking of them and that you're excited to give them surprises that help them feel better about the fact that you are thinking about them and you do love them. This can be a great way to charge someone's self-esteem and to feel a more bonded connection with you. Another reason why they might be pulling away is because they might be feeling overworked and don't know how to alleviate that stress in a healthy way. Offer to take them out and do things with them. Take walks, go to the batting cage, swim, do a physical exercise with your partner so that there is a release of stress and cortisol in the body, and there are good chemicals running through the brain that make you feel happy to be alive, happy to be with this person, and remembering these good times that you consistently built into your relationship. The world rushes at such a fast pace, but in your relationship, it's important for you to kind of stop the world for certain amounts of time and be with one another. There are so many things that you can do that don't cost money, but that just suspend the time you're together and really bring in nature and a sense of peace and calmness and the joy for being together in those times. This is one of the best ways you can help an empath recharge. Another reason that an empath might be pulling away from you is because you might be poking jokes at them and making fun of them and making them feel ridiculed. This could be a trauma wound for them that they experienced in childhood, either at school, with their parents, or with their peers. It's important to understand that poking fun at somebody, especially someone who's highly sensitive, it's not a good feeling. We don't like that feeling. It feels very alienating. And even though we can take it, we're mature enough, it just doesn't feel good. And it undermines our way of thinking about the relationship, our way of saying, this is a good, healthy relationship, and I want to keep going deeper and investing in it. It undermines the trust that you have in that person. It can make a person pull away from you and not want to engage with you more. So I would not engage in humiliation tactics, even if it's for jokes and for fun. And sometimes empaths pull away because they're having a difficult time telling people how they feel or what they're struggling with. So just allowing a space for you to inquire every so often how they're feeling and how things are going for them could really mean a great deal and make a huge difference in your relationship and the quality of their interest in participating with you. Ask them, how are things going for you at work? How about your family relationships? How about your friends? Maybe there are situations you know about that haven't been so great in their life. Ask them how things are going for them. They'll really appreciate having someone who cares about what they're experiencing and having someone to help them process those experiences with. After you've been there to help them process those experiences, they will feel so much better and you'll notice a huge shift in their energy. Remember that relationships are reciprocal. What you want to get out of the relationship, you have to expect to put into the relationship. And I hate to say it, but there is another reason why an empath might be pulling away from you. And they might realize that they're not feeling so compatible with you anymore. And sometimes that can be a scary thing to hear. But what you should do is realize that all relationships evolve either together or away from one another. And it doesn't make anyone a bad person. It just means that the growth has reached a final stage that kind of plateaus after a while. And it might be important to have an open dialogue about whether or not that relationship is still fulfilling your partner. You always want that communication to be safe and loving. You don't want any hostility brought into it. You don't want to have any blaming or mudslinging or bringing up the past or defensiveness. You just need to listen as a person who just generally cares about this person as a friend and wants to know the truth. In some relationships, empaths pull away because they have a difficult time trusting you. And you'll know if there's something that you've done that has undermined a sense of trust with an empath. Empaths are really intuitive people. They don't always need to be told something. They feel it and they know it automatically, and it will undermine the trust that they have in the relationship with you. In order to fix that, you have to address what it is that you've done to undermine that trust and actually work on getting that back. It can be a wonderful process to bring your secrets to the light and allow a relationship to be healed and become whole again. There is no reason to feel like you can't talk about anything in a relationship. If you are in a relationship where you're not able to talk about things, you're in a relationship that's going to fail. So making sure that you're always building trust and actually shedding light on anything that's undermining it is critical in any relationship, but especially with an empath. If you are a controlling person and an empath feels controlled, they will begin pulling back. They will begin being afraid to talk to you about their true feelings. It's important to understand that you cannot have a healthy relationship if you're trying to control another person. Because when you control another person, you change who they are. What you fell in love with originally becomes unable to continue to be and exist. People who generally control people become less and less happy with the outcome of that person because they fell in love with a beauty and a freedom within that person. But the more that they controlled it, they brought a dark, negative, toxic energy to that experience, which changed how that person showed up. The best experiences in life, you don't need to control. You need to appreciate. You need to understand that each person is like a flower, and allowing them to bloom all the different stages of their life is what makes them beautiful. Another common reason is they may not be able to be themselves without feeling like you're judging them. No one likes to be judged. Everyone likes to be accepted and to be understood. And so there is a sensitivity within human beings, especially empaths, that when they feel judged, they feel unacceptable and they want to hide. So it's important that if you are judging someone or you're discounting them or looking down on them or speaking negatively to them, or you're not accepting who they are, maybe in their differences, maybe they're different people than you are, maybe they make different choices. Rather than judging them and demeaning them for it, it's important to own that you have differences. And if these differences are not acceptable to you, you may need to move on into a relationship that doesn't have these differences. If every single person was the same, this planet would be a boring place. So learning to accept the differences and see the beauty in them rather than think of them harshly or negatively is a huge shift in how you'll experience life in relationships. If you have an empath that's pulling away from you, you have some communication to begin with. It's okay to talk about anything, as long as you approach it with a spirit of true interest and understanding. Come in a loving tone, set the mood for a good scenario. Don't wait until you're in an argument or you're frustrated to communicate. Find a moment of peace when you can truly sit down and actually have a good conversation, something that can leave you both in a better position than when it started. Empaths have a lot to offer as nurturing, loving partners, but it's important that you mirror that empath and you become nurturing and loving too. I hope this helps. And if you have any questions, please leave those in the comment section below. I love you all. Be well.